Well, top of the morning to you. The Dow this morning is trying to digest some worse than expected retail earnings from Lowe's, Best Buy, and American Eagle. But the NASDAQ, which started lower, is starting to move higher. They're moving like this in opposite direction, the Dow and the NASDAQ. And Tesla is moving counter market, moving up strongly, probably due to good China numbers and a slight price increase in China as well. NVIDIA is going to report later today after the bell, and then a lot of folks are waiting to see what the Fed would say in their minutes. How did the minutes change? Everybody looks for a one-word or two-word change in the Fed minutes to give them some indication of the direction of the Fed. As we know right now, the Fed and the bonds control everything. All right, this is Randy Kirk. Please hit like, subscribe, and notify. And then, of course, you need to it's getting closer and closer to Christmas. I know that everybody's saving their money to spend it on Friday and then again on Monday, maybe even Saturday, which is Small Business Saturday. But you probably have $25 left over to get yourself one of these. Maybe you think I'm going to have a big Friday special. I am contemplating that. I shouldn't say that, but yeah, that could happen. All right. So, and then please sign up for Patreon. All right, where are we this morning? We have Sawyer Merritt reporting that 16,300 Teslas were insured in China last week. That's up 36% year over year. And it's an excellent number, but also right about in the area that's been expected for this particular week. We did also see quite a number of cars being loaded onto ships to be sent over to Europe out of the Chinese ports. And then from Reuters this morning, Tesla Inc. has increased the price of the Model Y long-range vehicle in China by 2,000 yuan. That is puts the price of that vehicle at 42,212 in China right now. Elon now has sued. Okay, so he promised. He said, "Look, I'm going to sue. I'm going to sue Media Matters. I'm not going to go into my feelings about Media Matters. I think they are a horrible organization, and anything that happens to them that's bad is good." Okay, so maybe you don't agree with me on that. I just think it's a joke. Anyway, but he did end up suing them for fraud, and then the Texas Attorney General is also investigating them for fraud, and also the Missouri Attorney General. So everybody, if you agree with me about Media Matters, couldn't happen to a nicer group of folks. Anyway, U.S. Treasury yields are edging lower this morning as traders were digesting the auction results from yesterday's $16 billion in 20-year government bonds that were issued. Now, everybody was thinking, man, it might be hard after all the bonds were issued last week. Maybe that's going to hurt the bonds market this morning. But the truth is, apparently, there's good inflows of cash into the treasuries, and bonds went lower. The yield on the 2-year treasury added less than 1 basis point yesterday, but the 10-year treasury dropped 2 basis points to 4.421. We'll look at that in a little while. You'll see that it's actually closer to 4.4 this morning. There seems to be some resistance at the 4.4 level that I wasn't expecting, but that's the lowest yield since September 20th, according to Dow Jones market data. Then Trueflation has been showing a slow but steady rise in inflation over the last several days. It's now up to 3.13. That's slightly where the index was, slightly above where the index was 2 weeks ago when they changed their reporting method. I haven't been reporting Trueflation every day because I wanted to see what happened after this change in their reporting method before I became confident enough that this new reporting is as good as their old reporting. I'm still not 100% confident in that, but I'm going to go along with reporting it now more regularly. But so there's a slight increase in inflation right now compared to what they were showing. I'll keep watching this, and I want to dig a little deeper into their numbers. I get a lot of incoming commentary from a fella who calls himself R. Bremer, Arbremer. Much of what he has to say is good, but there was a particularly good piece yesterday on the Cybertruck, so I thought I would report it. He says, at the launch, they do need to have a testable, drivable tri-motor Cybertruck. He thinks maybe they won't start selling them right away, but they do need to have one for reviews so that they can talk about the specs on the tri-motor. And that's his conclusion. But he thinks they're going to launch only with the dual at first because that would help them to ramp orders more quickly by saving one motor per truck, which is a 1/3 savings, plus all the batteries that would save per truck. And it would be the most likely alternative to the core F-150 Lightning market, or just F-150 in general. Teslarati is reporting this morning that Tesla, that was the whole story. So he believes that they'll only come out with the dual motor at first. This is what it will be sold. Maybe that'll be the item that will be at the $79,950, which most people think it will be the entry price. And that would be very profitable, in general. Obviously, in the beginning, it won't be profitable because of all of the upfront CapEx that has to be taken into consideration and the early ramp. But that this would be more profitable than, say, trying to also do the tri-motor in the beginning. All right, so that I thought was, valuable information. We'll see what happens. Teslarati is reporting this morning that Tesla is moving ahead quickly with the details of a $2 billion facility in India, with a final decision coming in January. This is now being widely reported that this is happening quickly. As noted in other episodes, any deal would include substantial tariff reductions on imported Model 3s, Model 3s, Model Ys, whatever, in exchange for Tesla starting to source lots of parts, more parts than they already are. They're sourcing some parts in India now, but this would be a dramatic increase in the amount of money that they're spending in India. Oil continues this morning to be under pressure. There's a big, what would you call a fight going on between the OPEC nations, Russia and Saudi, in addition to OPEC, talking about reducing amounts that they're going to ship going into the new year. It's been being reported that Russia and Saudi will continue to maintain their lower shipments, but now they're asking the rest of OPEC to lower the numbers even more. Now, in general, we kind of look at this as being a geopolitical move on these people's part. Right now, I think it's an economic move. I think what they're seeing is lower demand, possibly partially due to all the electrification that's taking place and all the solar and all the battery and all the wind that's going in. But also just in general, a slowing economy in Europe, slowing economy in China. And they're just looking at trying to keep the price reasonable, not necessarily driving it into the hundreds, but rather keeping it in the 70s. Anyway, at the same time, there are, the U.S. reserves are strong right now, and the U.S., Canada, and other countries are increasing their production. That might be partially geopolitical, but I don't think that the oil companies in the United States are necessarily going counter to their own interests in terms of making money. So increased production in the United States and decreased production by the OPEC countries sounds like a good deal to me. Teslarati says that South Korean tech company LG Electronics is going to enter the United States in the charging station business, putting in superchargers. And also a lot of what they're going to do is going to be, they're going to be putting them in a lot in hotels, restaurants, transit hubs, municipal buildings, and then some charging stations as well. And they will be used. The reason I bring this whole thing up is that they will be using Tesla's standard, the North American charging standard. So that is more indication that this standard is going to be the standard, and all the rest will be going away, at least in the United States and I guess Canada as well. So that's the news. Where are the markets now? Let's take a look. We have got Tesla still continuing up this morning, up almost 2%, 1.95%. We have got the Dow Jones down 0.18. It is starting to move more upward now. It had been going down strongly, but it is now moving up. The NASDAQ down 0.5. It is topping a little bit. So Yeah, too hard to explain. Look it up. So the NASDAQ was going up and now it's starting to top. The Dow is going down strongly and it's starting to move this direction. Meanwhile, Tesla's been moving pretty nicely, pretty directly straight up all morning, although it is topping a little bit right now. We got the rest of the Magnificent Seven, except for except for Google, is down. Even NVIDIA, who reports later, is down 0.6. And then you got all the Cathie Woods down this morning. You would think that the bonds were going strongly up when you see all this activity, but in fact, the bonds. All right, let's go over and take a look at what's happening in the bonds. Let's see here. All right, we have got the, as noted, the Dow is down 101 points or 0.29. We've got the S&P futures down 12 or down 0.26. We've got the NASDAQ down $72 or 0.45. So now the NASDAQ is down a higher percentage than the S&P or the Dow. We've got the Bitcoin down almost 1,000 at 36.5. We've got the dollar continuing to be under pressure. We have got gold at 20, up over 2,000 again. We've seen this trend going. The dollar is down. Gold has been going up. Now at 2006. We have oil prices down 70 cents this morning at 77.13. And I noted earlier, I don't have that number in front of me, but Larry Goldberg says, got to watch copper. Okay, copper was down again this morning as well. Nat gas is down. All across the board on commodities down this morning, except for gold. Oh, sorry. Let me go back on that. Gold, copper is now up a tad, and gold is, of course, up, and silver's up. So those kind of commodities seem to be moving that way, whereas the petrol commodities are moving down. We have bonds down 2 basis points, still right at 4.4. Seemingly that is becoming a number that is becoming hard to penetrate. And let's look at that was on the 30-year. The 2-month is pretty much even. The 2-year is down 3 basis points at 4.883. Taking another look real quick at Tesla, you've got up now 2.28. Up $5.36 this morning. People are liking the news that they're seeing. All right, you should know by now that every show with Larry Goldberg sitting in as my co-host is worth watching for many reasons, way over and above the daily news that we do cover, the daily news, the daily finance, etc. that we cover. That was also true of last night's show. Yesterday's show with Brian White was also excellent. We took a look at the possible catalyst. You may remember on Monday, we look at things that are definitely going to happen between now and the end of January, and what Brian thinks, what I think is going to happen on those 12 items. Yesterday, we looked at things that might happen between now and, like, for instance, FSD becoming complete, that might happen between now and the end of January, and what we both thought on those issues. And then Brian says, hey, we need to look at that again at the end of January and see who was right and who was wrong. So we will try to remember to do that. Anyway, both of those shows, I'll put cards up for those. If you didn't take a look at those two, I think you would find both of those really quite well worth checking them out. All right, let's look at this in detail. All right, yes, there will be a special. I haven't decided what it's going to be. So if you want to order today and pay full price, you can. I know this is stupid, right? Do I sound like a good marketing or sales guy right now? Well, I got to have a special. I think it's probably going to be $20. Should I start it now? Let's do $20 across the board. I don't care how many you buy. I can't go lower than $20. You can buy 1 for 20. You can buy 3 for 20. You can buy 100 for 20. That's that. I just can't go under $20. So $20, that's the deal right now through Monday. Okay. After Cyber Monday, that deal is off and we're back to normal 25, 45, and 65. So place your order now. Remember let me know whether camo or whether stainless. You know all the details about it. It's the same thickness and same strength. Well, not quite as strong. It's not the same exact material, but it is stainless steel. Got a great magnet on the back for your refrigerator, bottle opener, great for taking out, great for gifts. This is your chance. You got 6 days to buy these things for $20 instead of 25. Or you could go on Amazon and pay $29.95, where the product is selling well. You might also want to join Patreon. You can get it for free if you join at the $10 level. And then you get breaking news as it happens during the day and my commentary. Yeah, I think should we take one more look? I mean, Tesla was going crazy this morning. It is now up $5.73 and has momentum. It has a positive momentum going on there. So check it out. That's all I got for you this morning. It's been great talking to you.